Hey y'all, welcome back to Movement Link. So, as we're doing a push-up, what we should be going for is something that looks like this, okay? We should be in a nice, just straight line, getting pressed up and down. So, I want to talk about a super common spine fault that we see in the push-up, and I want to talk about why it happens, and also why it's really good to know about it because we can actually use it to your advantage on other things. So let's look at it first. Is in the push-up, instead of staying nice and tight with everything, what we tend to see happen is people bring their weight down and then they leave their weight down as they push up, and then maybe they bring this back up later, but they leave their weight down and then bring it up. So I actually shouldn't have put this away. I'm going to need it. So think about what the push-up is, and we talk about this term center of mass. We use it especially when we're learning the bar muscle up and the ring muscle up. We can use it in ring dips. We can use it in box jumps. But basically, think of work being the distance, and we have to relate it to time also. But think of what we're really looking at is the distance that we're displacing weight. Okay, so if we're nice and tight, that distance, wherever that middle is, okay, is here. But if we let ourselves keep that part close to the ground, then we're not actually pressing our weight up. Okay, so this is why so many people do it is, one, either they haven't gotten the upper body strength or the core strength to maintain these positions, but also that's usually the case, but also there's another layer to it, and it's easier to leave that belly down towards the ground because you're not pressing your weight up as high. So if you watch me do one regular here, I'm pressing my full weight up and down, but if I come down here, I can leave that weight down low, and I can even do like a little seesaw thing. So what happens is people, and they might not be thinking about it, but their body figures this out. So usually they figure it out because they're not strong enough to hold the positions. At some point in their life, they weren't strong enough to hold the positions. So their body figures it out. It's like, oh, I can do a push-up easier if I overextend. So now they have this overextended movement pattern. So now even if they're really, really good at push-ups, they might have this overextended movement pattern that's just wired in there, and we just got to and rewire that sucker. So the other reason why this is important to know is because now, as we're doing burpees, a burpee is basically a kipping push-up, we're going to use this to our advantage. So remember, we want to separate functionality. So let's take a push-up, for example. There's nothing out in the real world where you would need to do a push-up. A push-up is a skill transfer exercise. In the real world, there's no rules about you have to do this, you have to do this. It's you got to get up off the floor. So now we want to take the skill and the strength and the body positions we've developed in the push-up, and we want to make it functional. So the functional version is the kipping push-up. So what does that kipping push-up look like? I'm nice and tight. I'm going to press up into that arch position, and I'm going to snap. If I'm going to use this for a burpee, I'm nice and tight, I press up and I snap, get my feet on the floor. So why is this important? One, that tight arch position can generate a lot of power, has a lot of skill transfer over into sports and other things, but also it's the ease of doing this. Because I'm not pushing my weight up anywhere. I'm leaving most of my weight down on the floor, so it makes the press so much easier. So a common burpee mistake is now we have the people that have gotten better at push-ups, and so now they're doing burpees, and they're using that strength out of the bottom, where this is where we need to flip our mind, and we want to take advantage of efficiency. So there's a time and place, what we need to know why we're doing it and how we're doing it. That way we can really take advantage of getting whatever done that we need to do. The point of push-ups are not functional in themselves. They're a skill transfer. So the point of push-ups is developing that neutral spine position, stable shoulders, and developing strength. That kipping push-up in the burpee is now skill transfer and we want to be able to use that strength in a more functional way. But we need to divide these two up. So if you're catching yourself doing a little seesaw or getting a little saggy in that push-up, okay, just remember that that's not the skill transfer that we're looking for, because then when we go and press something overhead, we start to see the same sagginess and the same tendencies carry over and carry over and carry over. So clean up your push-ups, but also don't forget about why you might have been doing that first technique to begin with, because we might take advantage of that later on purpose. Hope that helps. Talk to y'all soon.